Very good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. Sunt Moldovan. So I would like to say that I'm Moldovan. As Fred Kemp decided to be Egyptian, I would like to be Moldovan, and I hope that my Moldovan language It's really a great pleasure to present the Freedom Award to Vladimir Filat, the Prime Minister of Moldova. In this way, we want to pay tribute to his leadership in taking his country on the ambitious path towards democratic and economic maturity that is at the core of Western community of values. My pleasure in presenting this award is greatly enhanced by the fact that Prime Minister Filat also happens to be a supporter and fan of the Scorpions, the rock band. As you remember, many years ago, it was the hit, The Winds of Change, which accompanied many of us. Today, looking unfortunately grey-haired, grandfathers like me, but in our peaceful struggle for freedom 20 years ago, The Wind of Change was really moving music. And Prime Minister Filat, being with us here, bears testimony to the prophetic lyrics in that song, which spoke of the children of tomorrow dreaming away in the winds of change. The Prime Minister Filat is living that dream today, and with the wind still blowing strong in places such as North Africa, we can be sure that there will be others like him in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, Vladimir Filat deals with an enormous task of transforming a country that faces even more difficulties than we did 20 years ago. Like Poland, Moldova is reforming its politics and its economy simultaneously. But unlike us, it's also dealing with an internal conflict and separatist movements. Our task was extremely difficult, and at that time, many doubted that we would succeed. But we did. So will you, Mr. Prime Minister. Good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I have to confess I am honored to receive the Atlantic Council Freedom Award. It comes from a community of people I value personally very much. The solidarity in the name of freedom comes at a price that so many of you have paid, in particular here in Poland. And I am proud to share the same values as you and to join you here tonight in Wrocław. It's the Moldovan people who deserve this award, in particular our younger generation, who took to the streets 2 years ago in order to force the regime to conduct fair and free elections. We were persecuted while being in opposition, but we have never run away hiding. Instead, we took every opportunity to stand up and fight when fundamental rights were violated and freedoms restricted. But it was the people who took the biggest risks and fight the hardest battle. for democracy and for freedom. No power can keep them in darkness. I will leave the historians to assess the impact of democratic transformations. But as a politician, I see the freedom not just from a liberal perspective of sudden change in political life, but also from the popular perspective of ensuring individual rights, competition and prosperity. So many revolutionaries have failed their peoples. I am careful not to go down the same road. Any change of a non-democratic regime means nothing if we don't continue our efforts to make the lives of our citizens better. Receiving recognition from the Atlantic Council puts me in the company of people I have always admired, and I will strive to deserve it. Therefore, my dear friends, I receive this award with honor and pleasure, but also with the weight of responsibility for the fight of the country and people I represent. I will only deserve fully this prize when Moldova passes the point of no return in its democratic development, when it joins in the European Union, when the transatlantic values are firmly and fully incorporated into the very structure of our society. I am confident you will continue to support Moldova in this way, and I am grateful for that, as well as for the Atlantic Council Freedom Award. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
Mr. Prime Minister, that's a good point at which to close the first part of our evening.
He would have been supremely honored by your recognition of his life's work and vision. His commitment to building a Europe whole and free was unwavering.
Apparently, when Jesus entered Jerusalem on Palm Sunday and he was cheered, the donkey thought that the cheering was for him. I promise you, I will not forget that this award is accepted by me on behalf of the Polish people. The son of this land, the blessed Pope John Paul the Great, said that freedom cannot be had, it must constantly be won.
One of the deepest pleasures of my professional life has been watching the progress of the Polish people, from noble resistance to national liberation to democratic triumph. In just one generation, Poland has transformed itself from a captive state of an evil empire to a democratic driver of continental unity, from an object of struggle for a Europe whole, free, and at peace, to an architect of that dream's expansion on behalf of others, from the fight to get Poland its rightful place in the NATO alliance, to the ongoing struggle for its long overdue inclusion in the U.S. waiver program. I have always been, and will always be, a proud champion of Poland and its people. I will never tire in that quest.
Polish director of the Atlantic Council in Washington, Ania Voloshin. I want to thank her and her team, Magda Piasecka and Andrzej Bobinski and their teams for making this such an incredible success. Thank you. And thank you all for coming to the third annual Atlantic Council Freedom Awards. And please